When I first got the Asics Superblast 2, I wanted to fall in love. The looks, absolutely stunning. But was it love at first run? Not quite. It's a shoe that demands attention. Bold, sleek, unmistakably Asics. But looks can only get you so far. Let me tell you why this has become my go-to trainer, the shoe that I reach for more than any other shoe. But it wasn't always that way, especially not in the beginning. Why is that? So what do we have? We have a really breathable, minimalistic upper, nothing complicated, but it's got really good breathability. It's comfortable, it's stretchy enough, the gusseted tongue. I really like this upper. I love these laces. You can really get them tight because they got these little rivets that allow you to knot them nicely. So a nice, simple, clean, breathable upper that works very well, very comfortable. Nice padding, nice lockdown. And then we have the Flight Foam Turbo Plus and the Flight Foam Blast Eco at the bottom. And yeah, these two layers of foam make for a really hard, really stiff shoe. So it's not plated, of course, but it's stiff. And this lower foam does help with the support. I think I don't know which one is harder, but they kind of work well to create a well supported, very stable, and you can see how this kind of goes around the side of your foot to provide that stability. It's such a stable shoe around corners. But yeah, that's the midsole, and it's got the outsole. There's lots of grip, but it's not really trail-like grip. This is really a road shoe, but it's nice that you don't get things stuck in the bottom, as was a problem with the first Superblast. I should say that they're not showing much sign of wear thus far. I have 150 kilometers on them. So almost just 156, I think it is. It's about 100 miles. I have about 100 miles on these shoes. And they don't show much sign of wear, which is good. So yeah, so long as you run on the road, these should last long. And reports from others say they last and last and last. So look, I'm not going to go on about the upper, the midsole, and the outsole. There are a million videos about that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. My first run with these shoes was confusing. I laced them up and they felt so voluminous, because these shoes are voluminous. They're giant shoes, and I felt taller. I felt like I had balloons attached to my feet. It was weird because they were big yet light. It was strange how light they were for the size. And so I was confused by that. I thought, okay, that's cool. Just the thickness of them just was very apparent. So I went for my first run, and they were just very stiff, noisy, clunky, but light. And I was able to go pretty fast with them for the effort I was putting in, but they just felt weird. They didn't feel particularly fun. It was just a strange feeling to have such a large shoe on my foot and be so light and be so clunky. It was like, these are so big. I just felt like I had these giant things catching the air, but I was able to turn over pretty quickly. It was just confusing. They felt soft. When I first put them on, they were soft in terms of the insole, and there is a softness to them, but I showed you just how stiff. And it's like they're plated. I mean, there are many plated shoes that have a lot more give than these shoes. They may as well be plated. They're very stiff. So I felt that stiffness, but it wasn't necessarily the bounciness that I kind of expected. It's there. I just didn't understand it at the time. They just felt stiff, and they felt strange. Soft yet hard. Hard yet soft. Giant yet light. You know, voluminous yet speedy. They confused me. And I wasn't sure what to make of them. But then, you know, I kept running in them, and I kept running in them, and something clicked, something changed. I started to get more, you know, I was traditionally more of a midfoot to heel striker, and as I've been working on my cadence, I've been getting onto my forefoot a bit more, and my running mechanics have been adapting, and my cadence increasing, and I'm pushing down a bit more, pushing on the floor. And then these shoes allowed me to get into these paces, these rhythms that just felt amazing. They felt fun, they felt bouncy, they felt incredibly light, and I just loved that feeling, that pace that just started to push me, that ride me forward. The shoes were doing a lot of work for me. They allowed me to get into a pace like no other shoe allows me to get into while being so incredibly light. And I felt the protection, and they became softer. They're still very firm. The energy return is very apparent, as my pace for my effort would show, but they feel softer. They've been broken in to some extent. So I don't think, I say it clicked. It wasn't like an immediate situation, but I just found myself reaching for these shoes more and more. I'm sorry, I should stop moving. I'm going to cause you to feel nauseated from all this. I'll put these down. But I reached for them more and more, and every time I got them, they just got better and better. I had more and more amazing runs in them. And the result has been I've improved my running mechanics. I deeply appreciate the lightness. They're fun, they're bouncy, they're responsive. I've said the word light a million times, but they're so light for the size, and they don't feel bulky at all anymore. Especially if you land more on your forefoot. Now, if you get tired and you kind of, move your ankle back to put less work on your calves as you get tired, they're great. They're great for that. And they're so stable for cornering. They're just incredibly stable shoes. So they have stability, they have bounce, they have lightness. Once you kind of fall in love with them, once you click with them, you can get into the most amazing paces. And you just, I don't know, there's just some sort of synergy that happens. It sounds kind of silly, where my mechanics and the shoe, they just get along very, very well now. And if I wear anything heavier, I feel the mass. I really appreciate the lightness of these shoes. And I appreciate the bounciness, yet stiffness, so you can really get that response from the shoes. And I appreciate the protection that the shoes offer. So I've come to love these shoes. They've come to be the shoes that I enjoy running in the most. And I think I understand why there are some that don't get on with shoes. It's because of their bulkiness, the firmness. Maybe they just don't have that kind of experience curve where something changes, something clicks, where they get stuck in that state where they just feel bulky, or they just feel slappy, or they don't feel as fun and bouncy as maybe other shoes that they've worn do feel. But just the performance, the lightness, and the fun. There's a fun factor now. They just feel incredibly fun to run in. And I'm perhaps not explaining very articulately why they weren't fun. I think I did that part well, but how did they become fun? It's maybe the foam has changed, maybe my mechanics have changed. They do require you to push onto the ground, and they give back. They do really give back. But I can understand, because I went through that initial phase, and if I was stuck in that initial phase, I would be one of those who don't love these shoes. And now I absolutely adore the Superblast. They are super. And I think if I had that experience with the Superblast 1 and I climbed into these, I would probably have loved them right away, because I've been through that. Not only are the shoes breaking in, I am breaking in with the shoes. So I hope that doesn't sound too corny. But the Superblast are amazing. They can go fast, they can go slow, they are hugely protective, they have a lot of stack, a lot of cushion, they have that 8mm drop, which is going to take pressure off your soleus, Achilles. But they have a very nice, not overly aggressive rocker, so they feel very natural on your toes. They have incredible bounce and responsiveness. They're soft at the same time. They're hard yet soft. They have a lot of support on the heel. If you need that support at the end of a long run and you need to kind of take the load off of your calves, they can do that. They're versatile. They're not necessarily the best track or speed interval shoes. They're not really for that, but for tempo, for speedier fartlek sessions, I mean, they can even do interval sessions if you really want to. They're light enough and they're responsive enough for that, but they're not really designed for that. They're workhorse shoes, they're marathon shoes, half marathon shoes, long run shoes, and fast shoes if you want to pick up the pace. And yeah, I think I've said enough. I'm probably saying the same thing over and over again. So I will stop and just say one last time that the Superblast are banging. They're super, they're blasting. I love these shoes.